Well, I love the phrase, our present is an accumulation of the past. And what we're really talking about here is a new industrial revolution. But first, let's take a step back and look at what revolution. So this is the fourth. They call this the fourth industrial revolution. And these only happen a few times, have only happened a few times in our history. And it usually is really three things happening that cause the way that we live to be completely transformed, right? So there's usually involves new forms of communication that are invented, new sources of energy, and then also transportation, modality, logistics. So the first industrial revolution, you could look at this as happening like in the 1700s, where steam was steam-powered machinery, the steam press, new forms of communication, railroads. So this all was in the 1700s, starting maybe 1712, 1713, 1714. So we think of the first industrial revolution being sparked by that. The second industrial revolution came with, again, new sources of energy, oil, petroleum. The Rockefellers, as you know, they started their fortune on oil. They created the first set of oil refineries in the United States. But there was also steel mills that formed, and electricity was discovered. The telephone was invented, and the automobile, Henry Ford. So this is circa late 1800s to the mid 1900s. But not only that, but with the machines that were first created to dig deeper, to find new sources of energy, people started working with these machines. So farms and agriculture shifted tremendously. Also, obviously, labor, Emancipation Proclamation. So many things shift, and people migrated from rural towns to urban towns because factories, machines, jobs. But also there was consultants that showed up and said, wait a minute, the way people are working with these machines could be really improved. Let's look at the conditions at the factory. Labor unions started forming. So with the second industrial revolution, it brought a new way of working and living. Henry Ford, with the car, also pioneered new form of the factory line. So productivity and efficiency was improved. People started getting trained and specialized in certain areas. He produced one car every 32 seconds back in 1920. That's phenomenal. But also changed the way that he treated his employees and paid his employees, and his employees were his customers, right? He paid them a wage high enough for them to afford the cars that they were manufacturing. So a lot of this all took place, call it the second industrial revolution. Fast forward to the third, now we get to computers. This is the digital revolution that started in the mid 1950s. Mainframes were invented. From mainframes to computers, to desktops, to handheld devices, the internet, wireless technologies, 3G, 4G, 5G. Also, you had automation, robotics, but what we are in today is now, how do we take these digital technologies and fundamentally change the way that we live and the way that we work completely? So starting in 2010, 2007, gave birth to all of these companies that we see today. So for example, Netflix has completely changed the way that we view and watch film and TV. Before Netflix, it was just, the TV guide and, real time. There was no on-demand viewing. It wasn't digital.